Hi everyone, and welcome back to another magazine, issue 7 now of the Koi Perspective. It's absolutely flown by. This week I am off to a close friend's pond actually, Adam Webber. You might have seen some features already on the internet that have been done on his pond. I've never actually been over and visited his pond. I've known Adam for a couple of years really. He's built a really promising collection of koi, and I've been kind of edging him towards showing koi for like the past year, 2 years or something like that. I've been telling him he needs to do it. The Great British Koi Show usually lands on a day that he goes on holiday with his family, so I've kind of had to persuade him to get in trouble with his wife and book the Great British Koi Show in instead of the usual annual holiday for the kids and family. So no doubt I've got him in trouble somewhat there, but he's got an amazing pond, massive pond, and I'm really excited to show you today about what the thought process is about going into koi showing, some of the things you've got to look at when you're thinking about growing koi for showing, and actually building a vat of koi from a collection of fish, and sometimes some of the things that you might not think goes into choosing fish that need to go to a koi show. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to help Adam out a bit there, and we can have a look at his pond and have a look at what Adam's thought process is going into this, because this is new for him. I did it first time last year at the Great British Koi Show showing my fish, so learnt a few bits there. I'm by no means an expert, but you know, I've been around the show scene for a few years, so hopefully I can help him out a little bit with you know, some planning. And then actually in a few weeks time it's the Great British Koi Show, so this is going to be almost like a two-parter. Part one will be getting to know Adam, looking around his pond, making some decisions around which fish we're going to take to the show, and then the second part will actually be I'm going to come back and help him bag all the fish up and tag them to the show and do a bit of a feature for the magazine on showing his fish. So you'll get to see the actual process, how to bag fish, taking them to the show. I'm sure Adam will show you. I'm benching the show, so I can show you what that is. And then the results as well, and then bagging them up and taking them home. So it'd be quite nice for you guys to follow on the journey with Adam's showing experience from kind of start to finish really. You get the full whammy. So yeah, let's get to Adam's pond and we'll go through it in more detail when we arrive there. So I'm here with Adam Webber. This is an amazing pond. I'm not sure if you'll quite see the scale of it because it doesn't quite come off on camera, does it?
No, everyone says that who comes actually. Everyone says it looked big, but it looks really big when you get here and see it.
It's like when you chuck the pellets in, the medium Hikari pellets, and even the pellets look like the tiny ones. It's just, yeah, it's a humongous pond. What's the total volume of this?
190,000 litres.
Wow.
So 42,000 gallons, yeah. So it's
unbelievable.
Too,
so you've got
too big, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Around 60 fish?
Yeah, 60 koi at the moment. And it still looks empty, which is the problem. So I think you could put triple that in there and it'd still look, it'd still look pretty empty. But I think that's pretty much the limit in terms of food. I'm already maxing out the feeder. You know,
Japanese
big Japanese feeder. Yeah, I'm maxing that out at, you know, at the moment, 10 60-second feeds. So
unbelievable.
I don't think I can afford any more fish. Can't feed them.
Or food.
Or food. Yeah.
But so this pond then, we'll start there. So how did this kind of come about?
So I bought this house, and when I bought it, I'd never had a pond, never been fishing, never had any interest in fish. I don't even eat fish actually. I don't even like the fish from the chippy. I know. And I bought the house, and basically this was here, and hopefully you can overlay some pictures and video. So this was here to some extent. So the block work was here. It was a clay bottom pond essentially. It built, I think it was I spoke to a few people in the area to try and work things out, because it's all piecing together what had happened. We reckon it was about 25, 30 years ago it was originally built. Some engineer guy lived here, so he'd built this, and all the block work was in. It was dug out, it was puddled clay, I think.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I guess over the years it's just filled up and filled up and filled up to the point where I moved in. There was a problem with the drainage, so the whole bottom of the garden where we're sat here, all the way past where that decking and everything is now, was all just underwater.
Wow.
As soon as it rained.
So it was flooding with
rainwater.
rainwater.
Yeah, it would literally just fill up from the road. We're in a dip here, it's hard to tell really, we're in the dip of a road, so it would just fill up and the whole thing would flood. So it was obviously washing everything from all the crap basically in.
Yeah.
So it was full of sludge, it stunk, it was pretty awful actually. And the first thing I said to the guy when I was coming to look at the house is, can I fill that in? Is it spring fed or can I fill it in? And he was like, it's not spring fed, so you can if you want. And that's where my head was at, because I was thinking it looked horrible, and like I was thinking about the kids as well. Would it be safe for the kids? And that ended up going the complete opposite way.
So what sparked the idea to make one of the biggest koi ponds that I've ever seen?
I didn't realise how ridiculous it was, I think, at the time. So, because the block work was already in, the shape was here, and it suited the garden. So what actually happened, I remember I went to a garden centre round the corner, and I saw some little koi, and they were whatever, 10 quid, 20 quid, whatever they are. Yeah. So I bought a bag of koi, chucked them in, couldn't see them obviously because it was a sludge bath. Saw them swimming around a little bit. I thought, this would be quite good if I could see them. And then it started getting into, I remember buying random products online. Oh, this would clear your pond. That was the first thing. This clear your green water. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll clear it. Put this stuff in. Obviously it didn't, because it was just full of crap, basically. So I learned pretty quickly that wasn't going to do anything. And then just, ended up getting really carried away. So I was trying to find people who could get the sludge out. I had companies coming in to quote, which were just astronomical, as you can imagine. And in the end, the farmer at the back of me here, legend, he helped me massively. So he said, I'll bring my big digger one weekend, we'll do it together. Yeah, we'll ramp him, we'll get a load of hardcore, none of that was there. So there was a fence, we just trashed through the fence, built a big ramp of rubble in basically, and him and his son dug it out while I played around on a little mini JCB, pulling the rocks off and kind of preparing it. And
well, I guess it must have been a bit of a problem for him with it flooding all the time previous as well.
It wasn't ideal, because and it actually turned out the drainage that was causing the flooding was all on their farm. Right. So in the end I sorted that out. They helped me with this, and it's been sort of win-win for everyone really. But it kind of went from digging it out to I'll just line it, to then looking into filtration, watching YouTube channels. Yeah. You know what it's like. You get sucked in pretty quick.
You've gone down like a fairly traditional double bottom drain.
I've got four actually. So 2 of them aren't aerated. Yeah, because I didn't think I needed it. I probably should have done all 4 in. I mean, you know, it's like there's loads of things now in hindsight I would have done completely differently. But at the time, I wish I'd put 6-inch pipes to the bottom drains, because they're such long runs. The filter rooms under the deck in there, they're such long runs. 4-inch, it's generally all right. I purge them every week. I'm religious with that. As long as I do that, it keeps them pretty clear. But it's limited what I can pull through it now. I'm maxing out the 4 bottom drains completely, so to try and turn it over. But it is a traditional build. It's 4 bottom drains. It's into drum filters, moving beds. I've got 2 big new moving beds I added about a year ago on the back, just for additional capacity. So they've got like 350 litres of the new, whatever the new K1's called, I forget what it's, K plus advanced stuff. So I've got a load of that. That's made a big difference actually. That's really helped. I can just feed what I want pretty much. Crack on. No, and I've got big Momotaro Baki shower that feeds the waterfall as well. But it's kind of all been trial and error and evolution. I put some stuff in, it didn't quite work out, had loads of problems. I mean, I think three times the filter room is completely filled up with water, and I've gone in and there's been like the light floating on top of the water, and all my equipment's been flooded, and I'm ready to quit. Do you know, it's not been smooth sailing. I mean, even halfway through the build, there used to be a tree there where the decking is. There'd been a storm, I just looked out and there was a tree, a massive tree. It landed about here. So it was gone from there to like in my pond. I was like, oh, just everything that could go wrong kind of felt like it did. But
well, the thing is, you're working with different quantities here, aren't you? In terms of some koi products are not designed for ponds this size, are they?
No,
and
not at all.
filtration, there's no real guidebook to running a small lake.
No, and that was, I remember I did find an article, I can't think for the life of me where it was, but the concept was that in a big lake type pond environment, you don't obviously need to get the turnover in the same way, because you know it's diluting the waste so much, which is an obvious concept. I just, as someone new to this, I read that and thought that makes sense actually. Hopefully it'll work, because you're kind of doing it completely without knowing whether it was going to work or not. And I didn't have a pond builder, you know, it was me and mates and people, you know, from different trades that I know coming helping me out here and there with things, and thrown together really. And you know, you kind of look back now and there's just loads of little things like the filtering. I wish I'd done it double the size, because I run this on 2 Burton Cube drums. And I spoke to the guys at Burton after the last video I'd done, and they'd seen it, and they went, "I can't believe you run. You know, that's pretty pretty good for the smallest drum they do. Running a pond like this, and they do a brilliant job of it. And there's a lot of talk of drum filters versus other stuff. You couldn't run this without drums.
No, you couldn't.
The amount that they pull out.
It's not even just the fish waste, is it?
It's the leaves, debris. There's so much stuff in a pond like this that just ends up, would otherwise just be sat in the system, wouldn't it? So.
And I suppose, like, what we're going to come on to soon, though, is that you're keeping some quite expensive koi in here as well now, and trying to move this environment into like a koi keeping environment. And